Hello everyone, it is the first day of Summerween. I am so excited. I've been waiting for this for months. It even thunderstormed this morning, which was just the perfect overture for this entire week. I'm so excited. This is the first of our readathon I've done on BookTube. I have a lot of fun stuff planned. I have my books ready to go. I'm wearing my merch today. I swapped out my regular reading lamp for my orange reading lamp to give it my spooky vibe. It's my favorite thing. Ugh. So let's talk about the books that I'm gonna read this week. I talked about them more in depth in my last TBR video when I talked about the books I chose for this readathon, but the three regular ones that I'm gonna read that fill the prompts are, which is Read a Slasher. I'm gonna be reading The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Really excited. I've heard wonderful things, and yeah, I've never read a book like this before, so I'm really excited. The one to fulfill the prompt for having Halloween colors on the cover, I am reading The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. I know this is part of a series, but it is a standalone in the series. I'm very excited. I've heard wonderful things about this one as well, and I think it's YA. Yeah, I'm really excited. And it got a shout out from Karen and McManus, and I really liked One of Us is Lying, so really excited for this one. And then the third book that fills the prompt, a book with haunt in the title, I have This House is Haunted by John Boyne. This is written in like Dickensian prose, all about the story of a 19th century ghost. Really excited. It has fairly large print, which I like, so I'm very excited for these books. And then I thought, because the other prompt is to read a book in the dark, I wanted to have a dedicated book that I was going to read in the dark, and I automatically knew which one I was going to pick, because as soon as I started it, I knew I can't read this in the dark. It will scare me too much, and that is House of Leaves. I'm not very far into this book. I'm only about 11%, and I immediately hit pause as soon as I decided I was going to do this readathon, because I want to see if I can finish this book in a week. This book is so... It's not necessarily that it's like jump scare or horror necessarily, it's just that heightened tension of a thriller and like weird darknesses and long hallways and creepy things. It's a lot, and I'm very nervous, but we are going to try to read this at night. So those are the books that I'm going to read this week. I'm really excited. I also have some really fun activities planned for each day. I am daily vlogging, so we've got some fun things planned for every day. Today, we're gonna bake the sweet treat that goes along with my reading, which will be pumpkin cinnamon rolls. I'm very excited. I've got, what else have I got? I'm gonna do a little bit of a fall candle haul. We're gonna talk about all of the spooky books that I've got currently on my shelves. We're going to do a little DIY for Halloween. We are going to maybe solve a Sherlock Holmes mystery. And there might be a bonfire in there, you know. All in all, it's going to be a really fun week. I do have a pretty big writing deadline that is due this week, so these vlogs will be kind of short, basically just updates and my fun activities, because I got some work to get done. But I did want to document everything that happens for Summerween because I am really excited. This is the first readathon I've ever done, and I wanted to bring you along with me as I read. So, first things first, we gotta decide what we're gonna read today. I'm kind of thinking that I will put a poll up to decide. I kind of want to start with these two, but I don't know which one. So I'm gonna put a poll up on Instagram and see what you all think. Okay everyone, so the poll's been up for a while and you all unanimously voted for Box in the Woods. So I don't know what that says about Final Girl Support Group, but we are going to start with The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. Very excited. This is a YA mystery following the story of amateur sleuth Stevie Bell, and I think she goes home for the summer. Oh yes, she gets asked to go work at summer camp, and while she is there, she discovers that there was a murder case back in 1978, and because Stevie is a well-known sleuth, they ask her to come back and solve the case. And yet, even though this case happened several decades ago, there is still something mysterious lurking in the woods at the summer camp. So very excited. I worked at a summer camp for many a year, and it's summertime. So this is like the perfect vibe for the combination of Summerween and my past. So let's get into reading. I am maybe about a quarter of the way through on page 92, chapter 6. I'm really liking this. I'm gonna hold off judgment on like ratings until the end of the week, because I don't want to do my normal critical analysis thing like I normally do with TBRs, or like monthly wrap-ups. But I'm really liking it so far. Some things that I'm liking. I like Noah, which is one of Stevie's friends. He is that sort of struggling writer life. I can definitely tell that this is part of a series, and yet I really like the fact that it's not detracting from this particular standalone at all. You get mention of it and a little brief blurb about previous stories at the beginning as to like establish who Stevie's boyfriend is and her two friends, what's her name? Janelle and Noah. I like that. I like that it's a well-structured standalone. There's some good they-them representation. Janelle's girlfriend or partner, identifies as they-them. Love that representation. The person who invited Stevie to the camp is this very yogi-centric, like stereotypically yogi-centric man who bought the camp and now runs a company called BoxBox, which is just a box subscription service that sends people boxes. And I love that it's poking fun at the subscription service. I mean, on BookTube, we're no stranger to the book subscription services, but just a subscription service, a box subscription service that sends people boxes, and they're gonna get into sending people bags. It's just called BoxBox. I love that that's a sort of satirical comment on a very hip trend at the moment. I love the atmosphere. We're also getting a dual timeline. I like the dual timeline of a little bit of the people who were murdered back in the 70s, people who discovered them, the first cops on the scene, and also we're getting Stevie's story in real time. So I like that kind of byplay. I really am kind of liking the combination of modern lingo and YA sort of teenage influence mixed with a cozy murder mystery. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting. It's a small town, a cold case, so people have grown up in the town and have embedded themselves in the town that were involved or like connected to the case. It's kind of a good conglomeration of all three of those things, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's moving very quickly. Even though I'm not very far, I read all of this in maybe an hour and a half, intermixed while I was baking today. So all in all, it's very good. The murderer, it got a little dark there for a minute. I was kind of surprised that this is YA and it's, you know, taken that dark of a turn. It is pretty like serial killery. And the way he leaves his victim, or whoever leaves their victims, I don't know if it's he, is very, very vivid and graphic for a YA. At least that's my own opinion. Maybe that's the trend nowadays. It's very fascinating because people think it's a copycat kill from a very popular at the time serial killer in the 70s. It makes me wonder if, you know, someone is gonna get murdered in that same way in modern day. That's kind of how it goes. So we have original killer, copycat, and then another copycat of the copycat. They don't know if it's a copycat killer. They're still trying to figure that out in the 70s timeline, but that's probably what's happening. So anyway, I love this a lot. I love the camp vibes. They are just getting to camp. They just took a tour of the town, so we're gonna get immersed in those summer camp feelings, and it's gonna bring back a lot of memories. Also, they have a treehouse library at this camp. Where was that when I was working at summer camp? I would have lived there. Ugh. Sunset has just passed, or is almost over, which means it's getting dark outside. And I am so scared because that means it is time to read House of Leaves in the dark, and I'm not prepared. Oh, I didn't think ahead of time of like this actually being a thing. So I'm curious, am I going to read inside with my orange lamp on when it's nighttime, and am I gonna go sit out in the backyard and I don't want to go out into the backyard yet. I'm not brave enough, and also it's windy. And I don't like the wind when it's dark outside and I'm by myself. I think I'm going to stay here but read with a flashlight. I think that's going to be my compromise. So I will wait until it's dark and then dive in. I think I'll probably read a little more of this, maybe make hot chocolate or some tea. I don't know. And get cozy until darkness falls. A baked good update. Look at my little baby. These are my children, and now I will eat them. I wanted to try this on camera. The story of these being made was insane. These are pumpkin cinnamon rolls with a pumpkin maple frosting. This was supposed to be a relatively straightforward recipe, as are most recipes when I try to bake. I ended up only putting 1/3 of the required pumpkin in the dough, so it was very dry and almost pastry-like rather than dough-like. Thankfully it rose and it still cut well, but I ended up adding 1/3 of the pumpkin into the filling and 1/3 of the pumpkin into the frosting, so that all of the pumpkin flavor will be in there, and then there will be much moisture because, not gonna lie, they are a little dry looking. More like a roll than, or like a biscuity roll than a doughy cinnamon roll. So anyway, I had fun making them. I haven't baked anything in a long time, so it was fun to explore. There's so much pumpkin pie spice in here. And I got a little creative and added the maple into the frosting, so I'm about to try a bite. Here we go. I'm good. Oh. Yep. Oh. That's so good. And it's still a little bit warm. Mmm. Thank God I have a whole pan of these. It is a little dry, I will say, but the added pumpkin and the filling and the frosting helps a lot. But it's not as dry as I thought. It really is kind of like a dense, almost scone-like, that kind of dense chew. But it's really good. Baking is a science, but often you can cheat a little. This has been such a great day. It's been busy. I've had a lot of things to do outside of baking and reading, so I haven't been able to fully sit down and like appreciate it. But as I'm sitting here giving this update and enjoying my delicious cinnamon roll, I really enjoyed today. It was good. This is the kind of stuff I love spending time doing, so I'm glad I get a whole week devoted to my favorite holiday and yummy treats. Anyway, I'm in a happy mood. I'm a happy camper today. We'll see how long it lasts. That's my last update for the day, and I will see you tomorrow. You guys, my flashlight is dying. Can you see it flickering? Oh my gosh, this is not okay. Hi guys, it is really creepy updating you with just a flashlight. And my flashlight keeps flickering, which I'm taking as a bad sign. Oh man. I don't know how much you know about House of Leaves, but basically it's this house that keeps evolving into this big conspiracy theory and myth based on this one family living there and making tapes of exploring this hallway that appears. And so at the time, like when you're reading it, the most recent person to find all the information, the actual information on the house, is this late 20-something guy who talks about how much reading about this changed his life and he's like slowly descending into madness. All of that story is in footnotes. And as you're reading his sort of falling apart, you're reading about this family who's first exploring, you know, the weird parts of this house. And it's so ominous and creepy. A team of people are about to go do like a multiple day excursion down in the depths of this place that was discovered that's not actually there. They found this massive staircase that descends into this pit. And I do know that eventually something kills the family. Really creepy, not excited about it. I'm on chapter 8, just shy of 100 pages, and they just talked about how to do an SOS signal. Not fun. Something bad's gonna happen. Anyway, I'm on chapter 8, but I think I'm gonna call it for tonight because it's already past 11 and I need to get up early tomorrow, but it's really creepy. Nothing shock horror has happened yet, but it's building, and the tension's almost worse because you don't know when the bad thing is gonna happen. So anyway, I'm gonna stop before my flashlight completely dies and I'm left in the dark alone. I know I have other lamps in the house, but it's creepy.